Okay, it's time for our weekly recap. And what a week it's been. Monday, we didn't do any trading. That was for other reasons, nothing to do with the market or anything. But Tuesday through Friday, we did. We ran our scanners every morning as usual and did our technical analysis. And out of 11 trades in the 4 days, 9 went green. And 2 went red right away. So if you were in those, you knew to get out right away so you could keep your losses to a minimum. But 9 went green. So happy this week for us. How's that? All right, let's get right into it. And we'll do our trading logic recap for you right here. All right, so we'll jump right into it here with CYCC. Showing the support and resistance at around 460, 462, somewhere in that ballpark. Nothing's ever exact in this world of trading. It's always a range. So I just wanted to show you that resistance line and see where that was, because that's gonna lead into the next chart. And this is important. You need to look at these things in pre-market and see where they're going if you're going to trade the bell. If you're going to trade the opening bell, you need to know these things. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. All right, so as we were talking about that 460 number, as you can see, the candle just before the bell ring at 9:29, that tapped the 460. So if you jumped in when the bell rang, you would get in roughly about 463 or so. Maybe 465, in that ballpark. And then it ran right up nicely on a nice heavy green candle, nice positive move up. Got into the next candle, which actually went green hard for a minute. And obviously, as you know, as a day trader, you got to be quick, quick fingers. And if you were able to hit that up around the 490 range, which is where it popped up to, you had a nice move there of 30, 35, 25 to 35 cent move. So that was a good one, and again right off of our scanner. Now moving on to SIF. This was a late entry that morning. We had already done the watch list, the scanner, the whole thing, all our technical analysis, and this one popped up kind of at the last minute. It was just pretty much floundering around in the pre-market, wasn't doing a whole lot. Nothing to make you really pay real close attention to it. But when the market opened, so did this. This thing flew. And clearly the place, you see the first green candle at 9:30 was a real rocket ship. So now, here's a great example. Most of the time when this happens, you get a burst like that, you're going to get a pullback. All right. And sure enough, second candle was a pullback. But it wasn't even half the first candle, which was really nice. Third candle pulled back a little bit, although it was green, and sort of established a little bit of a baseline there. Next candle opened up at the same spot where that third candle was, which would have been a nice place to get in, or maybe a little above the prior red candle, which was probably around 440 or so, 445, or you could have gone in at like 425, 430. And this thing exploded up to about 550 real quick. As you can see, it meandered around for a while and eventually dropped off. But this was a nice move first thing in the morning. And like I say, this was a late minute entry, but we got it in there in time. So this one, we were really happy with this. It was very profitable. Well, okay, they can't all be magic. Every single one of them. CRDF, it made, I hate to even call this one a green trade, made a little pop-up, little quick doji, and, if you got a few cents move out of it, you were probably clicking your heels. I mean, you could have possibly maxed out on about maybe 10 cents move on this one, and then it just kind of tipped off and had no volume, no strength, no nothing for the rest of the day. But technically it's a green trade. If something goes just a little red, I technically call it a red trade as well. But they can't all be big movers. But these are the ones that if you do capture the move, it helps to build your portfolio up a little bit. So there is good old CRDF. Okay, now this one I liked right from the get-go. There's PSDI. Showed some nice movement. Volume was pretty consistent throughout the pre-market. It just had all the good earmarks. It was hovering around that VWAP for a while throughout the day. Well, when I say the day, to me the day ends at 11 o'clock. So from 9:30 up to like 10 o'clock, it was just hovering around the VWAP, collecting shares. And this one made a great move. I was real happy to see that. If you got in under VWAP, you got in somewhere around maybe like 955, 950. If you got in right around VWAP, you got somewhere around 965-ish, 960, somewhere around there. And ran this one up. I mean, this one ran up really nice. They ran up to about 1050, I believe, is what it got up to. I don't remember exactly, but as you can see by the chart, the volume came in, and so did the green candles. This thing maxed really nice. Even the small green, you have the one large green candle when it popped VWAP, then you have the second green candle, which it's almost like a positive pullback, is what I refer to those as. A lot of times you'll see that candle be red for the pullback. But when I see one of those, a big candle, and then one of those, generally that means we're going to do something here. So I call that a positive pullback candle because it stayed green. And as you can see, it sure did. So that, again, scanner, baby, did a nice job, did a real nice job for us. So AIM was a lot of fun. This was a fun one to trade. Doing the technical analysis in the pre-market, we found that around a $3 range was a great spot to look at this one, and it came true. Followed the pattern almost to the penny. It got down to 302. Started to make a move up. So I didn't know if it was going to make all the way to 3. Basically, what we said is a $3 range, which usually means, within a nickel of that, somewhere in that ballpark on a stock of this size. And it got to 302, and I think around 305, 306, I personally got in this one. And it ran up, as you see, did a nice move. A couple of nice 3 good green candles in a row. Then you had your pullback, and it never really broke below VWAP. A doji just poked a little past it, but I never really count those. And so there's really no reason to get out of it. So, stayed in it and rode it up. And I ended up selling it around 336. I got out of that one. So it was a pleasure to trade. There was one quick look when it broke the VWAP a little bit, just to see what it was going to do. And it was almost like a how you doing look, didn't really have to try that hard. So that was an easy one. Enjoyed that one. And that, like I say, that was on the scanner in the morning, and with the technical analysis, we came up with the $3 range. So I hope somebody made money on that one besides me. I really do. And moving on to Riot. This stock is the stock that has more lives than a cat. Every time I turn around, it seems Riot is making some sort of okay, Riot. I said it. Crappy joke. It was a dad joke. Anyway, Riot is just one of those stocks that just keeps coming back. just keeps on coming back. We called this one to keep an eye around the $2 range off the scanner and the technical analysis, and sure enough, it ran around that that $2 range area, and then it made its move up from 2, jumped up to 220, got up above that VWAP, got up to 240, kept on rolling, and I believe it got just a hair before 250. Now, I didn't get in this one myself because I was focused on some other things, but I would have been happy to get in this one. This is, good old Riot, man, doing its thing. Riot can hurt you. It's hurt a lot of people before, but you can also make some money at Riot, and today was a good money making. Well, this day was a good money making day with it. So I hope some folks got into that one off to the recommendations and made some money. And we're going to be moving on to APDN next. Okay, APDN. In the pre-market, we talked about this one. It had a really monster run up in the pre-market on some news. So this thing went berserk. And we talked about in the pre-market, when it's so far extended like that, it can be a little dangerous to try and jump into that fray and hope that it's going to jump up. I mean, most of the time, they don't. And the one that does, hey, if you get in it and it runs, great, wonderful, I'm happy for you. But, if most of the time it's not going to do that, it's better to stay on the sidelines, protect your income, protect your profits, protect your portfolio, and wait for an opportunity to get in. So we had talked about waiting for a good substantial pullback on this one, which we got. We got the good pullback. As you can see, when it opened, it went from $15 all the way down to $14 in about a minute. Then it dropped another roughly 50 cents in the next minute. And then it floated around there a little bit. Now, for a moment there, it looked like in that first 5 minutes, it might possibly start to make a slow recovery up, but then it dropped hard again. Now, if you're looking at that area in there around probably 940 or so, it taps, the lower 13 area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Makes a little run up. You might have been tempted to get in there and you would have made money, but it pulled back again and tapped that resistance area again. Support area again. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 times again, and then it started to make the move up. You could have got in it when it broke in VWAP at like 1350 and went up to 1450. Nice move. Or you could have played it on a bounce, a double bottom bounce. If you did that, you'd be running up from like low 13s up to about 1450, which would have been a really sweet move. But either way, if you're green, it's a sweet move. Green is, to me, that's the taste of sweetness. So this was a real nice one, and like I say, we did recommend very strongly that we were going to wait for a pullback before we saw anything that we would be a good move to get in there. So it's that far extended. It's just very, very, very dangerous. But that's, history's taught us about the market. So that was APDN, which was a joy. I made a few bucks on that one. And let's move on to our next slide. Okay, so they're not all winners. POAI just, I guess could have been a contender, but it wasn't. It did nothing. It just fell flat on its face. Pre-market chart looked great. Technicals looked great. Everything about this thing looked great till it started getting closer to the bell and it started to falter a little bit. And sometimes they make a move up and, and they surprise you. But since all the technicals look great and everything looked good on on the scanner, it was a nice, decent sized gapper. So let's stay with it and see what happens. Unfortunately, this one opened low, went lower, continued low, very low, very, very low. As low as it could go, pretty much. So it was a lose-lose, is what it is. And then we just move on because we were at 9 for 11, so that was one of the 11. Okay, BLIN. That one, took a little work. Took a little work on this one to make some money, but and you had to be quick. Is like a 2-minute deal, but that's okay. That's what day traders do, right? This one had a really nice pre-market, low, kind of low on the volume, but we had mentioned if it picked up on volume and got around that 260 range, nice place to get in. It did. 260 range, first candle, second candle popped up to about 290. Might have been 288, might have been 292, but it was in that ballpark at 290. Started to drop right back down in the subsequent 3 candles, 4 candles after that, and trailed off for the end of the day. But you know what? We're day traders. Who cares? Who cares if it trails off till 4 o'clock? As long as it pops up again tomorrow morning. So BLN, very happy with that one. It was a really nice little trade. All right, so that's the wrap up. We had a really nice week. I hope all of you got a chance to cash in on a couple of those, or even better, all of them. That would be great. I wish you a lot of luck next week. Don't forget, we're going to be out every morning posting up information from our scanner and putting it on our watch list. And, we'll hope for another good week next week. And, we try to keep some of the hope out of it by using methodology, technical analysis, try to reduce the chances of something going in the wrong direction on us by things that make sense. And that's what we're about, things that make sense. We want you to learn how to be a smart, methodical trader. All right, somebody who does the same thing day in, day out, without fail. So I hope you enjoyed all of this with this wrap up. This is an opportunity where I just want to say is, do not forget to follow us, please, on YouTube. Like our channel. The link is right here, right below, and also at Twitter. If you could follow us on Twitter, that would be great. This way we can keep bringing you this content every day. All right, and everybody, happy trading and have a good week next week.